The palace corridors echoed with a sound no walls had ever contained. The raw, piercing scream of a daughter's heart breaking in real time. Fazza's sister stood at the threshold, her hands pressing against the locked doors of the ICU, her voice rising, cracking, shattering the heavy air around her. Doctors held her back, their faces stern, but their hearts knowing the truth. That no one can stop grief when it demands to be seen, when it refuses to be silenced. Her scream was not just anger, it was fear. It was love. It was desperation. Every fiber of her being begged to be inside, to touch the hand of her father, to feel his heartbeat, to whisper that she was there, that she loved him, that she needed him alive. The world outside could see her distress, but no one could truly hear the storm within. The doctor's barriers were physical, but the walls of her heart had already crumbled. Her tears fell freely, her sobs shook the marble floors, and even the guards who stood firm could not ignore the raw humanity of her pain. The royal family watched in silence, some holding back their own tears, knowing that a child's love, a sibling's bond, can be fiercer than any storm. Fazza approached her gently, his hands resting lightly on her shoulders, whispering calm words she barely heard. "We must stay strong. We must pray. It will be okay." But even he felt the tremor of helplessness, for no words could penetrate the walls that separated them from hope. In that moment, the scream was more than sound, it was prayer. A prayer carried not on whispers but on the raw, unfiltered voice of love. And though the doctors did not allow her inside, her spirit, her devotion, her unyielding heart, was already there, holding the hand of her father in the echoes of her soul. No doors can contain love. No rules can silence it. And sometimes, a scream is the truest form of prayer. The palace, usually a place of elegance and grace, now felt unbearably heavy, as though the very walls were mourning alongside its inhabitants. The halls, lined with marble that had once reflected laughter and light, were now filled with the echoes of a daughter's grief. Fazza's sister stood pressed against the cold metal doors of the ICU, her trembling hands gripping the handle that would not give, her voice shattering the silence with raw, piercing screams that seemed to split the very air around her. She was not merely crying, she was pouring out every ounce of love, fear, and desperation she held within her, letting it escape in a torrent too fierce to contain. Doctors and nurses surrounded her, their trained hands gently holding her back, their faces calm, but their eyes betraying the understanding that no physical barrier could ever restrain grief of this magnitude. They knew that the walls could contain her body but never her spirit, that no amount of control could quiet the storm raging in her heart. Her screams carried through the palace, a haunting melody of fear and devotion, each note a prayer, each sob a testament to the depth of her love. Every fiber of her being seemed to vibrate with a single desperate plea. "Please, don't let him go. Keep him alive. Don't leave us yet." Fazza approached her carefully, placing his hands on her shoulders with gentle authority, trying to anchor her to reason, but even he felt the limits of his own strength. He too was a son gripped by helplessness, torn between hope and despair. Yet he understood that this outpouring was not chaos, it was the purest form of devotion, the language of love that transcended words, a force too powerful to suppress. Her screams, her tears, her frantic prayers, they were not signs of weakness, but the strongest proof of her unwavering bond with her father. The family gathered around her, each member carrying their own silent pain. Brothers stood stoically, yet their eyes betrayed the depth of their anguish. Sisters clung to one another, leaning on each other for support, as they shared the unspoken understanding that this moment was larger than any one person's grief. Their mother, her hands raised in continuous dua, whispered verses faster than they could be comprehended, her voice trembling but unbroken. In that hallway, titles, crowns, and thrones were irrelevant. What mattered was love, raw, undiluted, and unstoppable. The ICU doors loomed like insurmountable walls, separating the family from the source of their fear and hope. Each moment that they remained closed magnified the weight of uncertainty. When they briefly opened for a doctor to provide an update, the family would cling to every word, every gesture, every sign of life, only to be left hanging as the doors closed again. The anguish of waiting was almost unbearable. Each heartbeat of the father, each beep of the machines, Each movement beyond those doors became magnified into an entire universe of hope and dread. Fazza's sister's voice, at first a scream, gradually transformed into soft, trembling prayers,